Okay, so you want to go first? You introduce yourself.
Yeah, so hold on one second. Let me go ahead. That right there. Cool. So, uh, overall though, dude, so like whenever it comes to like down in that dude, like whenever I kind of took sort of like a test on what the libertarians like actually think about, dude. Like whenever
Yeah.
you go into like deep, like just like almost like the anarchic state, like they don't believe in like minimum wage. They don't believe in like the court system even at times, and it's like holy fucking shit, dude. And honestly, their explanation for no minimum wage is actually this: that if you don't believe or know your worth when it comes to working and actually getting a job, then you probably shouldn't have a job. And dude, that hit me like a fucking truck, Ray. Straight up,
Right. So
dude.
like my actual counterpoint to that would be like, since so like we live in a capitalistic society. Like capitalism is the system that we adhere to. But I mean, on the one hand, like yeah, like you can like so like the argument for like for example like people who do like who don't allow like those bakers that don't allow gay weddings. They say, well, we're practicing our religious freedoms. Like, sure, you can practice your religious freedoms, but at the same time, you say, well, it's a free market, and the people that are doing that, like, they're just going to get bought out by, or they're going to be competed out by somebody who does gay weddings. But at the same time, the people who are doing that, they're still hurting people by what they're doing.
Yeah.
So, like, I agree with you. Like, you have to know your self worth. Like
Oh yeah.
you have to know what you're worth. But at the same time, there's people who like, regardless, there's always going to be a cheap flow of labor that people are going to be willing to be paid $5 an hour to scrub toilets, and they'll be perfectly content with that.
I
And
mean, yeah.
that's what you can't compete against.
Yeah, and like it's so that concept though, it's like the same thing though in terms of like whenever they talk about labor laws too, dude. So like for example, child labor laws. They think that there should be no child labor laws because essentially if you are a parent who lets say like your 7-year old kid like go into like to like some McDonald's to just like clean tables and shit, then you probably shouldn't have been a parent to begin with. And dude, that also hit me like a truck. Like straight up. It's like, damn, now I see.
Yeah, like, things were different. Like when my dad was a kid, my dad would talk about like when he was like 6 years old, he was like his first job was like going to a bakery and washing pots, washing pans, and like sweeping up the floor, and he'd get like $2 a day. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Times were very different back then, but you look at it now, it's like, does a child need to be working? Like we place a really deep value on education. It's like, for me, it's like a child's education should count first and foremost, but I don't know, child labor laws, I never really thought about that. I mean,
Yeah, so I just
it
kind of read like the whole premise about it, and like once they sort of, sort of briefly explained that essentially it basically falls on, the family. That if the family is going to make like their 7 or 10-year-old kid like go to work like after they come home from like, doing, freaking 2 plus 2, right? And
right.
like they say that that is irresponsibility from the family, specifically the mom and dad, and that quite frankly they probably they probably are in the position that they are because of the decisions they made, and because of that they need to face those consequences. But because of that, those consequences lead to them making their kid work, and because of that they feel that those types of people should sort of be kind of phased out in a sense. um,
Yeah.
but overall though, I mean, it's kind of, again, it's that good old term, dude. It's a slippery slope. So
It really is, because like you can also you can also look at it from the other way, because like it's like a slippery slope in the sense that like it can also be like, well, you're poor because you think poor, you are poor, you act poor. It's like, well, there's also a systemic problem behind poverty.
oh
you
yeah.
know, Racial lines, but not only that, but like poverty is a very, very deep cycle to get out of. Like if your dad was poor, your mom was poor, chances are you're going to be poor, and education is a really the only way out of that.
Oh yeah.
But what does it say about our society that there's only two ways you can get out of poverty. Either you, A, join the military and go possibly get killed on another continent fighting for some sort of corporate system, or B, you go to college. You
Hmm.
know, whatever happened like to having a skill, masonry, blacksmithing, horseshoeing,
And
you know?
I even sort of feel like that if we even perhaps also brought our attention more to like trade schools, for example, I think that would definitely help various, families who might be impoverished to actually, get out of poverty and actually join the middle class.
Yeah.
I think if there wasn't such an emphasis on like, oh, college, 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 and more of an emphasis on, okay, well, college might be best for you, or okay, trade school might be best for you. You know,
Right.
we hear so much about how people want free college, but people, and even going back on like ex-military people, retired military, for example, they'll go straight into trade school off of their GI essentially, right? And they'll be either building cars or fixing up cars or welding or doing something else, right? Because with their GI Bill, I mean, they can go into any trade school that they want
Mhm.
and use that experience from both the military going into trade school to actually get an actual job that can pay them, anywhere between 50 to over 100,000 a year,
Yeah, I
depending
mean,
on what you're doing.
welding is a very very in demand profession. Like I was reading a text. I was listening to NPR, and they were talking about how Texas actually has a construction boom right now, but the demand to meet skilled, and the keyword is skilled labor like carpentry, masons, like cement workers, skilled cement workers. The demand for that is actually very high, but the people that are able to qualify those fill those positions are very low. Because to be a because I remember when I was in college, like middle of my college, like my uncle got me an interview at this construction company, and they were going to start me off as a carpenter's apprentice, making like $14 an hour, and then once you would build yourself up to be a carpenter and then master carpenter. Like master carpenters make like something like 100 grand a year, depending on what company you work for.
Mm,
So the actual guys that go through with that, I mean, it's the same thing as going to college and getting like an associate's, degree.
yeah,
Those guys that like get their associates in electrician. Because like I have a cousin of mine who's an electrician. He's a master electrician, and he makes a ton of money. Enough money to where he has 3 kids, and his wife doesn't work, and they live in a really nice 2-story house. My uncle, he's a master plumber, and he owns his own business. I remember during Hurricane Harvey, he actually lost something like $30,000 of machinery in
good.
Harvey. I was like, what kind of guy has $30,000 worth of machinery? I was like, well, he's a plumber. He's got trench diggers, excavators,
Yeah.
route. So I mean, just the money that goes into plumbing. It's like I remember he told me like, yeah, if you have like an emergency plumbing and I have to go to your house like at 2 in the morning, I'm gonna bill you for like 2 grand. You
Yeah.
know, so there definitely is a lot of money in trade skills,
Oh
but
yeah.
the problem is too many people are like, well, I'm going to be the next president, or I'm going to be a lawyer, I'm going to be a doctor. It's like, well, realistically, you're not. Statistically, you're not going to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, to be a doctor, it's like when I was doing Uber, I gave an Uber ride to this dude. He was a surgeon, and I asked him, I was like, how many years of college did you have to go through? He's like, well, so it was 4 years of undergraduate, 4 years of medical school, 3 years of residency, and 4 years of a surgeon surgical fellowship. So like you add that up, he's like got close to 16 years of college, you know.
Fuck. Yeah.
But this guy was easily making 400,000 a year.
Oh yeah.
E- like the house that I dropped him off at was insane. And he was talking. He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go to Colorado for the weekend just to go ski." It's like, I mean, that's good for you.
Yeah. All right.
But
So we have been live for about 10 minutes now, so I kind of just did it randomly, just like I said I would, Ray. So let's let's go ahead and just jump into it, man. So I guess I'll start off myself since this is my I guess my Twitch channel and our podcast as well. Um, so on Twitch, I am Sony Choppers. My name is Keith. Um, I am a full-time student as well as a full-time employee. I do work at a gun store gun range that will not be named for obvious reasons. Um, I met Ray, dude. Fuck, we met last year in December, right? At those
Yeah, like
trainings.
early December.
Yeah, dude. So, um, and I'll tell you what, brother. I mean, meeting you, dude, was fucking dope, man. I'll say that much. It was, to say the least, it was probably the best thing in terms of whenever I left, you know, where you are at still right now.
Yeah,
Probably, probably the best thing that could have happened for work in terms of like meeting new people and colleagues. Because
yeah, for sure, man.
like to this day, man, like I will always tell even my current employees or colleagues where I'm at right now. I mean, I'll tell like, man, if I could, man, I would totally love to go up there and go see, Ray, Ethan, Brian, good guy Brian.
Good guy,
Uh,
Brian.
dude, man, Brian is such a good guy, dude. He's such a
Dude,
baller.
Brian's a pimp, dude. That guy, he's got like talking about real quick. That guy's got like machine guns.
Yeah,
He's got like a whole ton. Like he's got a flamethrower. That's the kind of guy I want to be when I'm old, like when I'm
hell
in my
yeah, man.
60s. You know. So, well, yeah, man. It was awesome. Like really working with you. Like the at the last gun shop where we worked together. I mean, like it was great. Like you and I were not to be too braggadocious, but you and I were really the only people who had knowledge about like the industry and knowledge about the what people wanted. Like they were a lot of people we call our fuds, and I don't think we have yet to explain what a fud is, and I think that's going to be one of our main channels, like our hate for fuds. But
Oh, dude.
like we had that. I think we bonded over our hate of fuds.
Oh, dude. Hell yeah. You kidding me?
Yeah, like it's an easy conversation starter. Like, what fuddery did you see today, or what did you see on Fud Patrol? But um, yeah, it was great, man. Like honestly, working with you, um, the last gun shop. I mean, I'm still currently there. I'm in the job market for another place, looking around. But we just got to bonding over knives and guns and our mutual interest of granddaddy and our Lord and Savior, Gun Jesus. Uh, who reigns in heaven and teaches us about direct gas impingement and rolling block actions, and Rhodesian falls. I don't think anybody will ever be a bigger spokesperson besides Dylan Roof for Rhodesia than Ian McClellan from Weapons. Which I don't think we should
Oh my
be
god.
mentioning Dylan Roof, but that guy was like, but anyways, but also I guess about myself, my name's Ray. I work at a current gun shop right now. I've been in the firearms industry for about 4 years in Houston. I started out working at this one gun shop that we're both familiar with, and from there, I kind of bounced around different places. Currently, I'm doing some post grad work at University of Houston. I have my bachelor's in history with a minor in Latin American studies. The dream of mine would be to go on and pursue a full time master's degree in history, and I don't know, eventually write a book about CIA operations in Central America, or um, the connection between NAFTA and the war on drugs. And you know my main interest is Latin America, and a big part is the CIA. CIA history is fascinating to me. But I love history. That's my all since I was a small boy. History has always been my favorite subject. Um, I have my big. I guess I'm Keith is a conceal and I'm the flip.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I love knives. Like I have a pile of knives in front of me right now. My favorite knives are Winklers, Randalls, Striders. I absolutely love them. Every knife has a story, and probably spend more on knives than I do on anything else. I haven't bought shoes in about a year or so, but I'll buy knives like every month. You know, so
So, yeah. So, But yeah, man, like truly. So today I actually put in a few days off, and what I'm thinking about doing is probably one weekend, maybe the Friday that I have off, I'll probably drive up there to go see you, and hopefully Brian's still there as well. I want to find out who's vacuuming the range, so I can give him a pat on the back and tell him that you know what they're doing is some serious fucking work to wake up at 6 in the morning for, dude.
Yeah, just not that, but then like with the lead contamination that you're having to do in that big old honker, I've actually never done that. I'm pretty glad that I'd never do
Dude,
that.
you will never do it. You know why, Ray?
Why is that?
Because you're tall as fuck and big as fuck.
Yeah, no, that's not gonna be me. Brian is like super skinny, and I don't think that jumpsuit fits me.
Oh, dude, no way, no, it doesn't. It barely fit me, dude. And
Yeah.
dude, lately, dude, straight up, like one of my coworkers noticed this. They noticed that my stomach has kind of been getting a little flatter. I'm like, is it because like we're basically just standing around all day and actually moving around? He's like, yeah. And he's like, the same thing kind of happened to him, but it's just that the problem with him is that because he has two kids and goes home to those two kids, he just likes to just drink beer. I'm like, hey man, well fucking go crack some brewskis here real soon. And that's something that you and I
Yeah.
also need to do as well, Ray.
Crack open a cold one and respect women.
Yeah,
That's what I yeah, respect women key. Yeah, no, for sure. Like I I love a good beer. I love a good bourbon. Like honestly, a good bourbon is really nice. I could
dude.
go for
So whenever I came home today, my mother had made some pastas, so I scarfed that down. But I was kind of in the mood for a beer, and I asked my dad if I could steal one of his. He has this beer at Specs because it's only available at Specs. It's called Live Oak Big Bark Amber Lager, and it was actually really good. He says that it's like Shiner but with the little kick to it. I'm like, well, I'm here
it.
for I told him straight up, I'm here for the kick, and he's like, go ahead, give it a shot. And dude, it was fucking good.
Yeah, you know that Brian like brews his own beer, right? Or, I'm
No
sorry,
shit.
Alex, Alex, Alex brews his own beer.
Oh,
We were
dude,
talking about that.
Alex worked at St. Arles, I believe, right?
Yeah, yeah. He told
Yeah,
me he worked for a brewery, and then like he worked down in the valley and working for a brewery, and he knows his stuff. Like he was talking about like how um he wants to build a he wanted to make a pumpkin ale inside of a pumpkin. I'm like, he wanted to ferment some pumpkin. I was like, dude, that's insane.
dude,
I'm not a beer snob, but it I love a good beer.
hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't had a beer in a while though. Like on Labor Day, like I was hanging out with my mom, and my mom cracked open a Modelo because Mexicans always got to
Oh
hit me.
my god, Ray, don't get me started on imported Hispanic beer, dude. I will. Oh my god,
I love my favorite Mexican beer is actually Sol. Sol
dude.
is amazing.
So I've heard from a lot of people that Sol is probably the smoothest like light beer that's actually imported,
It literally feels like you're drinking like a Sprite.
dude.
It's super super light.
Dude, I gotta try that, dude.
Yeah.
But like honestly, dude, Modelo with the lime, that's all I need.
See, I'm not a big fan of putting the lime, but I mean, like, if you're
Oh,
gonna
you're
do it,
missing out.
that's kind of gay, man. Like, you dress it up with.
Oh,
Oh, sorry, cut that out.
oh
Yeah,
my god.
I don't mind having a beer though. Like, I like having a nice dark bock.
All right,
Like, I love that.
you heard it here first. Ray is too hipster to put a lime on his imported beer.
Yeah, no, I'm more of like a just like I'll actually well, you know what I love to do is like when I get like a Modelo like in a can, I will put like I'll like squeeze a lemon lime on the top, and I'll put like that tahini, that spice, that like little spicy chili powder.
Yeah.
I'll put that on a beer, and like when you crack it open and like it gets all foamy, that's
Oh.
amazing. Like it's like the best beer I ever had. And one time I was down in Mexico, and it's Mexico. You can pretty much do whatever you want.
Oh
But
yeah.
we stopped at this gas station, and I got a tall Modelo, and it was like 100 degrees outside in like in the Mexican sun. And when
Yeah.
I cracked it open, like there was like almost
Oh.
a slushy consistency to it. That thing had been sitting there all day,
Oh yeah.
and that was like a really good beer. Yeah.
Oh man.
So Like I guess let's talk direction. What should
So,
be one of your first topics?
okay, so since you brought up buying knives earlier, I guess I should probably go ahead and say this off the bat. Your boy actually bought a Glock 19 yesterday online.
Ooh, what'd
Yeah,
you get?
I
Like the
got
Gen
a
4?
dude, I got a Gen 5 19. So Glock actually came out. So this is kind of like their Gen, kind of like 5.1 kind of thing. So
Mhm.
it's just a plain Jane 19, except it has front serrations. It is not an
Yeah.
MOS, and they got rid of the U cut on the grip.
Yeah, dude, so many people hated that U cut. Like I absolutely hate the U cut.
Honestly, it doesn't phase me too much, but front serrations I feel is something that a lot of handguns should have personally. Like,
Yeah, so, like apparently they Glock did that with the Gen 4s. Like there's a Gen 4 at the gun shop I work. It's a Glock 19 Gen 4 with front serrations. I thought that was weird. I'd never seen that before.
because like I'm pretty sure you know it's from like the 43X and the 48 and the Model 45, they're putting front serrations on those models of handguns, and I would not be surprised whenever say Generation 6 comes out in another like maybe like 7 or 8 years that
Yeah.
they probably will all have front serrations. And honestly, if they do, I would totally be okay with that. Cause,
Yeah.
cause, because like I'm sure you know from you and I both being RSs, is that any handgun that has front serrations that can help you aid and clear, a really like sticky jam, dude, it
Yeah.
makes all the difference pulling that slide from up front than from the rear. Like
Oh
it
yeah.
makes all that difference.
Yeah. Even if you can't even if you can't get a good grip on I hate like 1911s that don't have front serration because a 1911 is just it's round, it's metallic, it's super slippery, and if you
Hell
that's
yeah.
it's really bad. But I'm actually curious. I'm really I like with the Glock Gen 4 that I have. I'm still partial to the Gen 4. It's the Gen 5. Like I like the Gen 5. I like the finger, how it doesn't have finger grooves on it. I like how it's just fingerless. And I'm not a fan of ambidextrous, even though I am a left-handed shooter. But Gen 4, I'm pretty partial because they left the internals the same, kind of like on 1 through 4, so there's more choices for you.
Oh yeah.
But I gotta say, like the Gen 5, the 45 with the MOS or the 19 MOS, that is really nice. It's actually one of the Glocks, like aesthetically, that's a nice looking gun.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
But
and I'll probably also be honest here too, Ray, as well. Like, it's like since you built your Roland, basically, you have the barrel, the whole 9 yards, basically. Dude, I've kind of been itching to make one myself now, and
so
I feel like I would definitely want to do it with a Gen 4 19.
Yeah, so my only complaint about my Roland build was that the compensator, and this is going out to KKM whenever they do listen to us, that they really screwed me over with the bolts, like the side nuts, to tighten the compensator in. Like at around 50 rounds, that thing comes loose.
Yeah.
So I just put some Loctite on it, and that's fine. But that compensator runs like a dream. Like
Oh yeah.
you put 124. So I've thought about swapping out and putting in like a new trigger, but honestly, the stock trigger with a Ghost Ink connector and with a compensator, that thing runs awesome.
Yeah,
And
dude.
with the Surefire X300, not only is the Surefire X300 aesthetically nice, but it actually has kind of like a counterbalance to it, so you're able to be a little flatter.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, I love it. Like I love my Glock. Like that's my go-to gun above any other pistol that I've ever owned. But
Yeah, yeah, cause I know from the few times I've shot it, Ray, like, dude, it fucking, like, it was a flat fucking shooter, man. Like,
yeah, now that I put like about a couple thousand rounds through it, that thing's getting smoother and smoother. Like they say, like the smoothing period is like around 8,000 rounds, like when it's like basically a dream. There's this guy on Instagram called Ezzy Dow. He's a guy out in like Tennessee. He's like part of that whole T-Rex arms, like the Drew Hopkins. Like he's
uh,
buddies with those
the Colt.
guys. Yeah, the cult of Lucas Botkins, which actually, he actually seems like a nice guy. I would like to meet him. Like they just on Instagram, they flew in this one airsoft guy from Japan.
Dude,
That
okay.
was That was a legitimately like that was like a nice thing to do.
Oh yeah, sure. The one thing though that wasn't nice to do was for him to speed up his video.
So does he actually speed it up or does he not? Like
Dude,
that's
one
something that
hundred percent, dude, 100% that video is sped up. Like
yeah,
so you go on r/firearms on Reddit, dude. Freaking
yeah,
so some people kind of like did like their own analysis. It wasn't so much about like how fast he cleared the jams. It was more so for the actual timed shots. So people would notice that a 2 point whatever on the shot timer only lasted on YouTube for about a second and a half for a 2.5, for example. Like say
yeah.
like some split in total was just 2.5, and people would be like, okay, this was a second and a half. What the fuck, dude? It's fucking sped up. And if you see his earlier videos as well, you see how that brass just fucking flings out of there like it's a fucking bat out of hell, dude.
Yeah.
It's fucking sped up, dude.
Yeah, I haven't really got much into. I do speeds up his videos. I really do. But I thought it was hilarious. Like they were talking about him on Instagram, like how he went to like this one. It was like put on by like some special operation guys. Like it was kind of like a match, and
Oh
that
my god.
he refused to do the deadlifts and the dummy drag. All he wanted to do was lift. A shoe is supposed to lift. I don't know how true
And
that is.
and dude,
Dude, if it were to go down, like if it were to go down between me and Lucas Botkins, and not saying anything about him, but like I'm a big dude, and he doesn't seem to be a very big guy. Like if it was like if he was a cop, and I was a criminal, and that was the guy you would send to respond to me, I'd be like, what's up with this guy? But no, so like going back, like so this guy as he down, like he posts this one video, Glock. It's a Glock 17 with loopholed Delta Point Pro, and he's got a Surefire X200. This thing is so smooth that he has it open, he has it closed, and then like he literally does like a punching motion, and he will rack around into the chamber. Like that's how smooth that Glock is at
yeah.
50,000 rounds through it. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, but do we have any listeners right now on Twitch?
No, I did have one of my homeboys who normally watches me play games. He comes in. He's a really cool dude. His name is Josh. He normally watches me play games, but I did bring up the other day that I was going to do this with you, and so I don't think he's in here right now, but it's all good, man. Really. Um,
Yeah,
but uh,
yeah,
but like overall though, man. So I think so. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the things that we really don't want to talk about. Um, So basically two shootings within a span of not even over a month.
yeah.
So
No, that's pretty bad.
yeah, um, really unfortunate. And one of them, and friggin' so the El Paso shooting happens in Beto's hometown, right?
Which
Or
honestly, like not to go. You gotta admit for Beto, like as somebody who was on his side in the political race, it definitely gave him a bump in the votes, like in the polls. Like, oh, he's a hero. He's there with the people. It definitely helped him that there was a shooting in his hometown.
almost kind of like it was kind of perfectly timed.
Right,
Like
almost. But I don't. I'm not too deep in that whole thing. I
yeah,
don't believe in that.
we won't
But
jump down that rabbit hole,
mhm,
but and overall though, in terms of what went on though, so from what I recall, and I could be completely wrong, I believe the shooter did pass a background check. So let's go ahead and give it to the federal government right there for doing their job and making sure that a law-abiding citizen can buy a firearm that day, right?
that's all
And
to you, man.
and then he just fucking gun ho walks in right to the fucking front door of a Walmart and just starts spraying.
Mhm.
And
So he was actually wearing ear protection during the shooting. And I looked at the video. Or I didn't see the video. I looked at I looked at the camera shot. He has the exact same ear protection that I use. A cheap, the Honeywell Light. He has the cheap ones that I use. I was like, I should probably get throws away and get some Peltars. But like he went on a rant. He was talking about like how he hates Mexicans and how Mexicans are invading force, and there you get an anti-immigrant stance. And as somebody who's spent a lot of time studying history, it really doesn't surprise me. A lot of people were like thrown away, like they're like, "Oh, this is so horrible." It's like, well, not really. Like if you pay attention to Texas history, like there's a deep history of anti-Mexican,
Oh yeah.
in the South. Like when Dylan Roof shot off the church, like that's nothing new. Like we've been killing people because of their race for a long time.
Oh yeah.
What's unfortunate is that it still happens, but my thoughts on it is that crimes evolve with the society. We no longer lynch black people. We no longer kill Indians en masse. Give smallpox blankets. We kill people with what we have, and senseless violence. Yeah, like violence is the El Paso shooter was motivated, but what about the Las Vegas shooter? We still to this day don't have a clear reason. And all those people who say that it's like, oh, he's on benzos and he's on medication, those people are a bunch of fucking idiots. Like it's not medication. It's clearly just some people snap, some people don't know what they're doing, some people just want to commit violence, like what Michael Caine says in the Dark Knight. Some people just want to watch the world burn, and
Oh
that's
yeah.
the fortunate part of a free society. We have people who are going to commit senseless violence for no reason whatsoever.
Oh yeah. And then going back on the recent shooting in Odessa, this is the complete exact opposite of the guy in Odessa. The guy failed a background check. He couldn't fucking buy a gun. And yet again, I mean, he did whatever he could to go out and get one. And unfortunately, he did it through a private sale.
Mm.
And the guy who sold him the gun probably didn't do shit right. Like $20 because it's fucking Odessa. Probably didn't do a bill of sale. Probably didn't want to sell to only someone who has a LTC, so that way they can, okay, so this guy actually has an LTC in the state. He can buy this gun, so on and so forth.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I've sold tons of guns through Texas Gun Trader. Uh, will a LTC stop somebody? No, absolutely not. I mean, I think it's unfortunate that this guy, killed people. From what I was heard, is that that was the same day that he was fired from his job. I think that what happened is that there was just no reason for that violence. And people just they just did it. But it goes to show that you can pass a background check or you can fail a background check, but you're still going to get guns.
Oh yeah.
And for people who are talking about gun control, they don't know what they're talking about, because like you've got your P80s, you've got your polymer 80s, you've got your lower 80s. People are gonna build guns whichever way they can.
Oh yeah.
People are gonna build guns. Like my big stance on that is like if you want to talk about gun control, well, let's talk about how the war on drugs is going. People are dying today. So I was listening on NPR that 70,000 Americans die every year from prescription or from opioid, from the opioid crisis, which 70,000 people die a year of ingesting fentanyl, heroin, oxycontin, all these drugs. So the real killer is, I'm not going to go throw out the name Big Pharma, but I mean, like um, we're talking about the fact that we're I don't know what to say, but we have it's kind of a check yourself moment, a come to Jesus moment, and realize that there's a lot of things wrong with the society.
Oh yeah.
Senseless violence, but drug addiction, um, that's one thing that I think is wrong with us or society.
Yeah, and then I saw yesterday too on r slash firearms that apparently I want to say this bill got introduced, got brought to the House. It was pretty recent. Uh, I want to say in like 2011. So it was brought to the House, and essentially what it was making NICS available to the public for
Yeah,
for people to conduct their own background checks for whenever they are wanting to sell a gun privately. And Democrats shot that shit down. and
That's
it's
pretty.
like, and it's like, oh, okay, you're making a federal resource available to the public, and you don't want to make it available to the public because you feel the need to do more than basically what it takes to have a actual successful sale. It's almost as if essentially on their platform that they want to discourage the the American public to own firearms essentially.
Well, I think the Democratic Party just doesn't know the gun culture,
Oh, of
and I
course
don't think
not.
the Republican parties don't know the gun. I mean, I dare you to challenge like a guy like Stephen King or Steve King out of is he Iowa? I dare you to ask him what the difference between like tell me why I should go with a cold forge receiver as opposed to a milled receiver. You know what I mean? Like they don't know anything about guns. They're fuzz, but um, I think that one thing I was listening to is that Texas Governor Abbott recently passed a couple of bills that now you're going to be able to carry a weapon in church, and I think at some schools you're going to be allowed to. And another thing that I thought was actually kind of brilliant was that the week before, during, and after a state declared emergency, you can open carry without a license in the state
Yeah,
of Texas. So there's like another Harvey, or if there's like Katrina or something like that, when something big were to happen, there's like a national emergency, you stay strapped. And honestly, that to me is pretty sensible, because if it, I you always tell me that I talk a lot about NPR, but I mean, I listened to an incredibly just thought provoking report about what happened the days after Katrina. They were talking about this one hospital, the effects that Katrina had on this one hospital. Like, it was in a span of 1 week, but in the span of 1 week, 45 people died. And one of the big things that happened was that they were euthanizing people, because of the burden, because they couldn't get generators running, they couldn't take care of these people. And one thing that really stood out to me was is that 45 people died. Out of those 45 people died, around 24 of them had high levels of morphine in their system, meaning that they had been basically put to sleep. Which, if we want to talk about the ethics of euthanasia, fascinating topic to talk about.
oh
But
dude.
one thing that they said that absolutely just blew me away was like he said on Monday, Hurricane Katrina was off the shore. On Tuesday, Hurricane Katrina hit. On Wednesday, we lost power, and on Thursday, we were deciding whether or not we were going to euthanize the people under care. So it goes to show how far, like like how delicate our society lives in. Like we can one day we can be shopping at Kroger, the next day we can be fighting over the last can of beans. You
Yeah.
know, and I think a weapon is a great equalizer. You know, I think so it is. Um, and honestly, if more, I like what Dave Chappelle's new stand-up special said. Like if more black people got armed, you would pass gun control in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah.
Which is what
And
it'll cut.
and unfortunately, the Republicans who claim to be pro-gun and want people to be armed would be totally behind gun control at that moment in time. The moment they
Yeah,
see a minority deciding to arm themselves, that's when they feel fucking scared and just start being like
absolutely,
a whole bunch of fucking cowards, dude.
absolutely. Like there's this one video I saw, the Huey P. Newton gun club of Dallas. Like Huey P. Newton or Huey P. Long. Huey P. Long was a Louisiana. Huey P. Newton was one of the founders of Black Panther. But I mean, like they were basically marching outside in Dallas, and they were walking around with ARs and AK. They were doing a check, and I'm like, bless your heart, that's awesome. More people should do that, you know. Um, but like if we're gonna talk about like what arming minorities, it's like in California. California banned open carry because of the Black Panthers. Because when Ronald Reagan was governor, the Black Panthers marched up the steps of the Congress House, Legislative House in California, and they were standing there with. There's a great photo if you Google it. They're standing there with M1 carbines, 30 cal carbines,
Yeah.
and they're just standing there with Ray Bans and turtlenecks and afros, and they're like, "What's up, dude? We're staying up for our rights." And they passed that shortly after that. No more open carry in California. But, but
Yep. And it's ironic too because I actually even found out. I'm gonna say it was last month. I found out that Obama actually lifted a restriction to uh, basically the restriction was that you couldn't open carry or even carry concealed at national parks, right? And I
now you can. Now you can.
uh
So I
huh.
was reading an article about the advantages of a 10 millimeter versus a revolver for bear. You can actually open carry at a park with it during the Obama. You could actually, and then they reversed something with I think it was like on Amtrak. You could carry a weapon on Amtrak. Certain other things they carry, but yeah, I mean like, and what was the big one that Obama did? Did that, but then during Trump, we've had
A ban on
we've
bump
had
stocks. We've had pistol braces threatened recently. There was
there are
apparently some sources that said that a little bird told these people that the Trump administration is going to tell the ATF to basically make pistol braces part of SBRs.
I would hate to see that happen. So I think
Dude,
the little
let me
SBR
tell you something, dude. The day that fucking happens, dude, is the day I will fucking I'll just fucking go berserk and I just very simply won't comply. I mean,
no, obviously you can't comply with that. I mean, just because they're laws, does that mean that they're righteous? I mean that's up to the person deciding it.
and I will never forget though what Fud's Gun Shop said whenever he was doing his weekly um, AMAs. Um,
Yeah,
pe-
yeah,
People were asking like, yo man, should I SBR this rifle? And straight up, this is what he said. And dude, this fucking hit me like nothing else, dude. He said getting ATF Form 1 SBRs are for people who go to who are for people who can only shoot at public ranges.
yeah.
Dude, that fucking hit me real fucking hard.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, homeboy has a big point here, dude.
And
Cause
what does Whiskey Live say that free men don't ask for
free
permission?
men don't ask. And dude, straight up, I would like to announce straight up right here. So on Reddit recently, Ray, so there's this sort of like kind of like company, I guess. Essentially, what they do is they come up with 3D printed schematics to make various firearm accessories or even frames. It's called Defense Distributed, and unfortunately, Reddit banned them, dude, because they were
Yeah,
putting out links to their sites where they had these schematics for a Glock 17 polymer frame lower that
yeah,
that you could 3D printed. Their Menendez mag, which is a little kind of like a little jet that or from the senator of New Jersey, Bob Menendez.
yeah, yeah,
They called it the Menendez mag because apparently he got into an argument with the founder of a defense distributed and he basically made his mag available to the public. He has a 17 round Glock 17 mag that you can 3D print, a Glock 19 mag that you can print, and even the Glock 18 33 round mag that you can also print. And dude,
yeah,
honestly, unfortunately, it's probably gonna come down to that whenever they actually freaking bang down our doors and shit, man. It's gonna
yeah,
be us bearing those frames and those slides and those lowers to actually, have something to actually protect ourselves with.
yeah. So I saw a meme today. It was like 10 seconds into the Boogaloo and PSA Anderson lower jams, and you hear 7 seconds they go around, fire overhead. It's like, yeah, dude. Like honestly, all these guys talk about the Boogaloo, but how many guys would be actually prepared to actually stand and fight for what they believe in?
dude, dude,
You
those
know,
people straight up, like, not to quote Daddy Dunn, but dude, those people are all talk, no action, dude. Those
uh,
people, they will talk the talk, but they can't even walk that walk, dude. They
no,
they are like, oh my god, I have like 10 ARs, but dude, they're all fucking freaking Smith and Wesson, freaking uh, ARs and like Ruger freaking ARs as well. The freaking NPR, the meme purpose rifle. They have like
Yeah,
two of those, and then they have like five freaking PSA builds and shit like that.
yeah,
It's like, dude, come on, dude. You could have literally, you could have not have bought any of these, bought a halfway decent rifle, say like for example, an arrow precision, and then just use the rest of your fucking money on ammo and training. But what did you do? Buy 10
yeah.
of them.
Yep, just to have them there, dude. Or well, I mean, yeah, it could be good currency, but I mean, at what point, like those things don't work? Half of the ammo.
And dude, it's like whenever you told me about Homeboy who came in to shoot whenever you and I were working at the same place. He had a Taurus G2C, but Homeboy had a shit ton of ammo. And
Yeah,
it's like honestly, you have to respect that dude because he's
I
on his own grind. He is on his own grind.
yeah, I remember that dude. Like, yeah, yeah, he had a Taurus G2C, and he had like 500 rounds of ammo, and he had like bare solution drills, and he was doing them at 10 yards. And he's like, yeah, this is all I can afford right now. I was like, honestly, dude, you have my respect than those
Dude,
guys that are just shooting.
absolutely.
You have more of my respect than those guys who are shooting 1911s at 15 yards or shooting their Wilson combats. You have my respect because you're training. Doing bare. First of all, bare solution drills are amazingly hard.
Oh yeah.
The dot torture test, like that's insane. Like,
Dude, those targets definitely present a challenge to you, man. And and for him though specifically, like honestly, dude, I I'll freaking knock on wood and pour one out for him, man. Like
yeah,
bless him, and I hope his you know his his situation with money gets so much better so he can actually buy say like a Glock or like a Smith and Wesson or like a
yeah,
Seg P320 and actually shoot a really good quality polymer framed handgun and actually get some top notch training with it, man.
for
So
sure.
so
Yeah,
so here it is to him, like just straight up, mad respect to that guy. And unfortunately, from where I'm at, working at a freaking 5-star gun range, dude. Today I had one guy, so I had one guy. He's a member, and he saw on our rental wall the Wilson Combat, the EDC X9,
yeah.
and
They just released a long slide version of that. I think it's kind of stupid.
he fucking drooled over it, and he was like, "I'll go ahead and rent it." And I'm like, "All right, sounds good." And dude, he said it shot really well, it shot amazing. I have not shot a Wilson, but I tell people every time they're thinking, like basically people who want to shoot like the higher tier handguns we have, so like the Wilsons and the STIs, I tell them straight up that if y'all want to have a fun time and shoot a really good quality handgun, I always recommend the Staccato P. Always.
Yeah, I love the staccato. I love the staccato. Like for
But
the price point.
yeah, but dude, straight up, dude, freaking the other STIs we have the DVC, we have the host, dude. Oh my god, they're fucking nuts. The one thing
They're
though is that so because like guns like the DVC from STI, that they're fucking race guns, dude. Straight up, the ammo that we run through them is just 115 grain SMB, and
Mhm.
we need to have like 124s or like 115 plus P because people don't fucking get a tight enough grip on them and they fucking stovepipe. So
Really.
yeah,
That's kind of interesting. Like the amount of price you're paying
they're
that
limp
they're
wristing it
still.
100%, Ray. Like whenever someone like myself or even so like there's this one girl that I do work with who's actually in the middle of being a instructor right now. Um, she'll shoot the DVC with just plain Jane, volley munition, and it doesn't fucking hang up or anything. It doesn't jam at all. So clearly, it's the people who are treating it like this fucking diamond jewel and not like a fucking tool, you know?
You gotta grip it and rip it, dude.
Hell
Grip
yeah.
it and rip it. Yeah,
Yeah, and
those
then
are meant to be
and
used. It's
then
like,
and then speaking of STIs as well, I had one guy come in on the freaking VIP range. Comes with his son today, and his this dude has straight up he has two STIs,
hmm
and I think one of them was the Staccato P and the other one was the DVC carry. Dude, fuck me, dude. Like I saw them out on the table, and dude, they fucking just glowed at me, dude. Like,
fellow.
like freaking, dude. I promise you, Ray. Within a year, like within a year, 100%, I will for sure own an STI.
I don't blame you. Like, I would love to have the money to drop
Yeah,
on an SDI.
yeah.
I
Unfortunately
I
for you, man, I mean, it's kind of like honestly, it really does suck for you, Ray. Like it really does right now for you, man. Just having to
Yeah,
deal with all of that fucking foo-foo lame, dude.
yeah. No, I mean, my wife would be. She'd be like, "Yeah, if you can afford it, go ahead." Like, she wouldn't.
Oh,
She'd be.
deep down, we already know the fucking feeling deep down.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. Like, I think those STIs. I wish I had the money to have one. You know, I love shooting that staccato. I would love to shoot a combat master because like those things are like sex. They're
Would
just
you
they're.
believe me if I told you that 5 people have came in with combat masters?
Are you kidding me,
Dude,
dude?
I'm not fucking kidding around. And dude, one of them,
They
believe it or not, was an older woman who actually wanted the combat master. Dude, I fucking fell out of my chair basically at that point.
like how like how old are we talking? She just had
Like
like
50 years old.
she casually just was walking around with a $4,000 1911.
Hell yeah, dude.
Respect, like that's the kind of clientele that you get at your current gun shop as opposed to our old gun shop. You know, people there they flip out at the old shop. You had to talk people into buying a kimber. Do they even sell kimbers at your current gun shop?
No, but one of my instructors that I work with, he actually does carry a Kimber, but he bought the Kimber in like 2008, and it's one of the really, really good, nice Kimbers before the freaking quality control went to shit. And he says,
Yes.
and he says straight up that that Kimber he'll own forever and pass down to his children. I'm like, and straight up, I told him I don't like I don't blame you at all, man, because like you and I both know Kimber in the 90s was insane,
Yeah,
and then
they were the go-to brand.
yeah. And then Kimber in like the mid 2000s were also insane as well. But
And then they started downhill.
it was like it was like 2011, 2012, that's when it really fucking hit the fan, and they can't fucking feed hollow points now. So,
Yeah, this bad boy can feed so little hollow points, but no, I got rid of my 1911 just because I like it, but I just at 1,000 rounds the extractor bent,
oh
and
fuck.
I'm like, no, that's not going to be a thing. I put it on Gun Trader and got $500 for it.
Yeah.
So you know, I took a loss on that one, but
I mean,
yeah,
we all have to count our losses, but
yeah,
you still to this day should not have sold that fucking USP, dude.
yeah,
Fucking
I
breaking my heart.
regret that, dude, because I made like I paid 470 for it and I sold it for like 670. So I made like close to $300 profit on it. But the price point, I mean, I really regret selling that USP because a brand new USP 45 is like $900, and that USP was I would say less than 500 rounds through it at most, and I paid 470 cash, and I sold it for 670. You know, I made a good. Yeah, I'm probably not gonna get a USP for a very very long time.
Do you
You know,
guys still have that USP on the 45 counter?
I don't think it's ever been touched. Nobody ever sees that thing
Dude, I'll fucking
because
go in there and buy it for my fucking birthday, dude. Like
it
dead
shows
ass,
the
right?
USP one.
Do you guys still
Like
have
it.
that Zenith clone as well, or did someone buy it?
Oh, so we're gonna be doing a sale on the PTO. We no nobody. We're gonna be selling the PTO. We're gonna be getting rid of our range guns. Our range guns are gonna be put on sale. They're gonna be sold like 10% below cost, and it's gonna be a members only thing.
So the Daniel fence is going.
No, I think that's staying.
So which ones are
I
they selling? Do you know?
like the Canics. They're getting rid of the Canics, the Beretta, some Glocks, the PTR, um, several guns. But I don't think they're getting rid of the down defense
They're getting rid
because
of several
that's
guns, several Glocks. You do you know which ones by chance?
I have I need like the 17, the 19, the Gen 4s, and they said they're gonna get about 50 new guns in range. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna
That's
be able
fucking crazy, man. Like straight up, I'll say that much. That's fucking crazy. I guess,
to.
I guess that's sort of their plan. I guess in order to build up, a used gun kind of like inventory. I guess they refresh their rentals every year. Is that how that fucking goes?
Well, so the plan is that it's gonna be like kind of like a member thing. So like they're gonna put all the guns in one of the classrooms, and they're gonna have it open. Like the first day is gonna be like elite members. Second day is gonna be like premium members, and then like third day is general public and employees. So
General
they're
public and employees. When is this,
yeah,
Ray?
I know, right? Like just treating us like trash. Like, hey man, like I would seriously pay money for that PTR.
When
And
when is it though? Like which weekend? This weekend?
I think they're saying something like around the 9th or so. Like it'd be around that time frame.
Which day again? Sorry.
Like the 9th, like probably next week from what I was told. But like probably the 13th, maybe this weekend. I don't know. I have to check with them. But I know that they pulled them out like a week ago, and they've been gone for some while. So I don't know.
Dude, that's fucking crazy, dude. Like that's actually for real. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
I would.
let me know the price on one of their Glocks are, dude, and I'll probably fucking have my dad fucking go in there. I'll make my dad buy again.
So
dude,
freaking five four
dude,
five,
dude,
four
my
one two.
dude, my dad has never bought a gun in his life. Oh my
You
god.
serious?
Yeah, dude, I told you that before. I'm the first
Yeah,
generation
you
gunner,
did.
man. My dad has never
Well,
bought a gun. Dude, the day I came home with with my M&P, like he was like, okay, what's so special about this? And I'm like, what do you mean, what's so special about it? This is what's gonna defend our lives here. And
yeah.
kind of like talking big and bad over here. Are you are you watching that video on Twitter or that one? It was in like that neighborhood, and like this lady was like struggling with like this dude, and then
Yeah, like
dude,
I just turned on Whiskey Live like on Instagram, and this one lady was like, uh, Whiskey Lives commented, "Imagine getting overpowered and shot in the back, running away by a dude who commits suicide by cop. Like the dude wants to die and gets to bring you down with him. He was tired after though. Didn't put much of a fight for the next wave. Could have probably done more damage if it wasn't a female cop cleaning that weapon. It's ridiculous. I don't know that and
dude, I saw that video on Twitter. It was fucking nuts. The dude who posted it was like, "What the fuck did I just witness?" And honestly, I was pretty confused too. All I just see though is like freaking 10 cop cars pull up and each cop's fucking drawing their fucking gun and they're like, drop the gun! And then boom, 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 boom! And then people are just fucking screaming.
I have to finish it, man.
Do it,
Uh,
dude.
it's finishing, but no, I mean, yeah, we'll see. That's one thing we'll have to talk about for next time. But anyways,
Yeah. Say again,
when
Ray?
should I'm getting ready to sign out.
Yeah, yeah. We've been doing this for about an hour or so I think probably a good time.
I think
Um,
I should.
dude, straight up, man. Like, I'm okay. So if our podcasts are gonna be kind of like kind of like short on time, kind of like this, like between 45 minutes to like an hour and a half. I mean, I can definitely do like basically any day I come home from work or school. Honestly,
Yeah,
we should definitely shoot for next week though.
for sure.
You
Like,
have class Tuesdays and Wednesdays, right?
Tuesdays, and I have Tuesdays. I have a Spanish class.
Okay.
Uh, but we can do that. But I would like to like what we can do like one day is today was kind of like it's like a chit chat, but I would like to like one day just focus on one topic, like
Yeah,
the
you
topic.
and I would have to text each other and actually discuss that. This was just kind
Yeah,
of like just chilling kind of podcast.
yeah. I think what a really good podcast would be like one day talk about EDCs, like what to carry, like what is a good EDC setup.
Yeah,
Like I'll tell you about my EDC setup.
yeah, I'm totally down for that, dude. Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
but
that's probably gonna be the one for next week. We'll just talk about like, for you, you'll go into like good knives for like EDC, and I'll talk about various firearms, and you can also chime in, and then I can also chime in as well. Talk
yeah,
about,
man.
like flashlights, little pocket flashlights, various types of other things that you might carry on your person.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna get this one called the Surefire Stiletto. It's a
Surefire
US
makes a stiletto, or what the fuck?
it's a Surefire Stiletto. It's basically like a USB powered 600. It's got like strobe and it's USB powered. I like it. It's like 120 bucks on Amazon. So that's gonna be my next purchase.
All right,
So
so
all right, so
I'll let you know whenever the stream is off, so that way you and I can just kind of like conclude, kind of like here amongst ourselves. So I guess overall final thoughts. Honestly, Ray, I mean, in terms of what you and I were talking about today, I mean, I really had no sort of like uh, expectations, I guess. But I mean, the main thing here though really was to get you set up mainly on Discord because this was your first time using it.
yeah, yeah, and
But
I'll leave all the tech side to you. One thing we can start doing is like like I can have my wife design like a logo for us.
yeah, so straight up, the logo or the picture I posted on YouTube for us is dead as the Fallout flag of the Minutemen. So it's literally just a lightning bolt and a musket. So
Yeah, that would work. And then
yeah,
like we can talk about setting up an Instagram page, um, like spamming it, and maybe do like once a week or so.
yeah,
And
definitely for sure. So
it's a fun project. And then we have a plethora of topics to talk about, like everything from like conspiracy theories to like concealed carry to constitutional rights to food to whatever we can think about really because there is a lot to talk about in this world.
hell yeah, man. So all right, so I'll go ahead and close the stream right here. So Josh, I know you're still here, brother. Appreciate you stopping in. Take it easy.
I mean,